If you would like to convert between different units, for example, you know that you are 6 feet tall, and you want to convert that to centimeters, you need to use what is known as the factor label method, which is also known as dimensional analysis. First, let's go through the steps. The first step is start and end. Determine what you're starting with and what you're ending with. For example, in the example I've given you, you are starting with 6 feet, and you are ending with centimeters. The second step is the conversion factor. You need some factor that will translate between feet and centimeters. For example, you might be able to look up on the internet that there are 30.48 centimeters in 1 foot. The third step is to insert the values based on your conversion factors. You would literally plug these values in to a conversion, which I will show you in the next page. The final step is to multiply the numerators and the denominators and simplify, which will be much easier in the example following. For example, in the first problem you're asked to convert 1.24 kilometers into miles. Step number 1 says where we start and end. You're starting with 1.24 kilometers and you're ending with the unit miles. Now this is going to take cross multiplication, so it's better off to put 1.24 kilometers over 1 so that things can easily be canceled out. Step 2 is conversion factors. What you're trying to do is find some factor that will go between kilometers to miles. And you should see from your worksheet that 1.609 kilometers equals 1 mile. So now we have to insert based on our units. So now, based on our units, we know kilometers have to go on the bottom so that they can cancel out with kilometers up there. And the other half of the unit conversion is miles. So mile would be our numerator. And then you just fill in. So whatever number goes in front of kilometers in your conversion factor goes in front of kilometers in the fraction, or 1.609. And whatever number goes in front of miles goes in front of miles down here, or 1 mile. The final step is to multiply the numerators and the denominators. The way to do that is first multiply your numerators. 1.24 times 1 equals 1.24. And don't forget your units, miles. Now you have to repeat the steps for the denominator, or 1 times 1.609 equals 1.609. The final step is to simplify. And to do that, we have to divide 1.24 divided by 1.609, and you should get an answer of 0.770, and don't forget your units, miles. And you have officially converted 1.24 kilometers into miles. Now, let's try to follow the steps in a little bit more smooth of a fashion. What we start with, 80.90 centimeters. Put it over 1 so that we can cross multiply, and we're eventually trying to get it into the unit of inches. The unit that has to go on the bottom would be centimeters, so that they can be canceled out. And the unit that we're trying to get it into is inches. So inches should be on the top. At this point, you should realize that you need a conversion factor to go from inches to centimeters. And if you look at the top of your worksheet, you will realize that 2.54 centimeters is equal to 1 inch. So then you have to insert these values. you have 2.54 centimeters, so where you see centimeters, you plug in 2.54. You also have 1 inch in your conversion factor, so wherever you see inch, you're going to have to insert the number 1. At this point, multiply the numerators. 80.90 times 1 inch equals 80.90 inches. Similarly, 1 times 2.54 equals 2.54. The final step at this point is to reduce. 80.90 divided by 2.54 equals 31.9 inches. Those are the basic steps on how to convert using the factor label method.